Hey everybody, welcome to Legitimate Clashes. This segment is going to be a segment. Is it going to be in our podcast or is it just going to be a separate upload?
Separate upload.
Separate upload. Okay, cool. So this is going to be a separate upload from our podcast, and this is going to be something called, like I said, Legitimate Clashes. This is going to be a debate style head-to-head clash between superheroes mostly. We may have some other themed episodes at some point. The main goal of this is to convince our um, overseer, our god, our absolute final answer here of our team. So basically, what's going to happen is we are going to be presented with a fight by Sean, and Sean, yes, he's our king. Look at him. We are going to be presented with a fight by Sean, and what we are going to do is I will take one person, Devin will take the other person, and we are going to go 3 main points. And between each point, we will have a rebuttal phase where we can kind of discuss these points. They're going to be limited to about 3 minutes per point, and then the rebuttals will be about 10 minutes. And then at the very end, our god will decide the fate of this fight. Now, where this fight takes place is in a extra dimensional neutral ground Walmart. This Walmart is completely inescapable and impenetrable. Nothing from the outside can get in, and everything in there is up for use by the people in there. So,
I,
we all agree that the fight ends at death. The first person to kill the other person. If it is, we also all agree that every person who is fighting in this understands that the fight is to the death and is willing to kill. So, a great example of this, my shirt, Spider-Man, is usually morally against killing. In this setting, that will not be the case. They will be going for the death, for the kill, as soon as possible. There are going to be many ways this can go down. A great example I said earlier is if we are given the fight between a literal ant and Lord Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, and I'm defending Lord Frieza, and Devin is defending an ant, and his argument is so good, and my argument is so poor, that's the end. The ant has beaten Frieza, and that is how it shall be. So with that going into it, Sean, would you like to tell the lovely people what we'll be debating today?
we will be debating two excellent human species. Very good fighters, both of them, and very generally powerless, I think, for the most part. They gain their power from their natural ability, which is these people are Hawkeye versus Daredevil.
I did miss a point, but those are going to be great. I'm going to be representing Daredevil. Devin will be representing
Okay.
Hawkeye. Something we are going to be doing is something that's popularly done by the I don't know, whatever you want to call it. These power scaling people. We are going to be doing something called compositing. If something is synonymous with your character or something your character has done, it doesn't matter if it's from a different universe of another thing this character has done. It is fair game within this Walmart. So a good example I said was we all know Batman has a utility belt. Whether we pull the bat spray from the show or the bat sonogram from the Arkham games, it doesn't really matter. As long as that character has used that thing or used that power, it is fair game here. Now, the limits of this are what we think we can get away with Sean. So a great example of this is the Batmobile really it's synonymous with Batman, but can we argue that that's something that should be in here? And that's up to Sean. So we need to convince Sean of certain things because there's not usually cars in Walmart. But if he allows it, he allows it.
Technically,
There
there's an
is an
auto
auto
zone
shop.
in a Waldo.
Oh snap! There is an there might see, and that's the thing is like if we can get away with
You
it,
can
yeah.
if he's got ticket to the shop. I don't know why he took it to Walmart, but
Yeah, and but He's Batman. He was prepared. um, but okay, so let's go ahead. Also, we do have an extra listener here. It is our friend Butter Collie. You may hear occasional laughs, giggles, or gents and jives. So that going on. Would you like to take first point, or shall I?
I'll take first point.
Go ahead. Sean, if you could start a timer for 3 minutes.
I don't need 3 minutes. Clint Barton, my boy Hawkeye, does not miss. Period.
Do you yield the rest of your time, or?
I figured that was a given there, buddy.
All right. Okay. So, what I have to say about that is that he has missed before. That I can't, I'm not going to be able to be like, oh, in this panel, but I will also say things have interrupted his arrows before. People have, example, Bullseye can shoot his arrows occasionally. His arrows are kind of out of his control the second it's left his bow. So, with that being said, I personally think a lot of Hawkeye's main arsenal is not really up to snuff against my good friend Daredevil. Because Daredevil has shown at many times the ability to deflect and dodge and strike bullets out of the air, which travel significantly faster than arrows by a large margin. So if he's able to see and detect these things, which move faster than arrows, and do that, I just don't really see how arrows are able to kind of do that.
Daredevil can't see.
Yes, he can't see in the traditional sense. He can like echolocate, for lack of a better word. He can a world on fire or whatever the show said.
So here's the thing.
Sure.
While his arrows might have been interrupted, they would have hit. There's nobody else there.
I can agree with that.
It's just Hawkeye and Daredevil.
I completely agree. He would be on target. Yes. What I'm saying is that those arrows ain't getting to me. That's all I'm saying.
What I'm saying though is like he can shoot them fast. He has the quiver that has different kinds of arrows.
That's a good point.
You can't block them all.
If I hear you. I understand that. The issue is Daredevil's going to be able to hear your heartbeat and understand when you do the release. When people shoot an arrow, there's a let go, there's a tell. And the thing is his reaction speed will be great enough to get out of the way. And he can hear your machine putting together whatever type of arrow you may have. He can hear the boxing glove being padded up. He can hear the mechanisms within the bomb coming into chamber so that it's live. This is something that Daredevil has shown complete and total the ability to do.
Sure, but we've seen Hawkeye shoot an arrow from I don't have an exact measurement, but very far away. I know everyone has seen the Marvel movie, the Avengers.
Right. Sure.
He shot an arrow, I don't know, 5 city blocks in New York. Loki caught it, but he wasn't shooting at him. It was a bomb.
I hear you. I understand. I have no further counterpoints to this point. So if you'd like to go on to your second point, I'm good.
He was trained by, I don't know, I could be lying to you. He might have been an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. He worked with S.H.I.E.L.D.
He's been a lot of things. He was a carny in some books.
Right. So he would know how to work against these people, especially Daredevil. He knows how to he can be quiet. He knows how to do these things. If you've watched the show, The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know that show is the origin story to the other show that nobody ever watched, like Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and the other one, and then the one that they all came together. That
we just forgot Daredevil. Okay.
Well, Daredevil too, but exactly, nobody watched it.
I
So
hear you.
all I have to say is, like, if Daredevil would have made a decent show up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, if he was good enough. But there's Hawkeye, and I know you're gonna say the movie that came out in like 2004. I don't know if that. Well, now it might be canon. You might have that one because of the multiverse.
No way. God, I love that Kingpin. If we can just use that one, rest in peace. But
I don't know who you're talking about. Oh, no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah. Is that the end of your point? Are we into counterpoint? Sean forgot to do the hourglass for this one.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay.
I have it going. It's too long. I set a real timer, but then
okay. That thing is long, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
That's.
I think it might be I think it's like a half hour.
What if that is an hourglass, eh? Wouldn't that be weird?
I don't think it's a whole hour. I think I've measured it, which is unfortunate. But
okay, cool.
Closing statement.
Oh, to your point?
Yeah, to my point.
Okay.
He can move around just as quiet as Daredevil. Daredevil might be able to hear him, but how far away can he hear him? That's my point.
I hear you. So there was a couple points kind of cooked into this point that I would like to personally address. The thing about him being either far away or quiet is kind of null and void. He may not know right where you are, but the second your arrow enters his, let's just call it a hearing dome, for lack of a better term, enters his hearing dome, he's really, really good at trigonometry. He knows where that arrow comes from. And bad news, he now knows where you are. Another thing is that when you say he's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., I completely give you that he was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but not all agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have dossiers on everybody at any given point. There are certain levels of clearance that have to be provided in order for you to actively be able to go through these. If we were talking about the Black Widow, I bet she's gone through all of them without anyone knowing. Clint Barton was drinking the Kool-Aid. There is at no reason where Clint was likely, I don't know, I guess we are compositing, but the particular Matt Murdock case is so street level that S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't really actively monitor things like that. So I personally don't think he'd have an exact answer in this, but we're also, I think it would be fair to kind of disbar any previous meetings of these two characters because they were in the same universe. And so, but and then that's my main, and I genuinely think that Hawkeye is more like a sniper approach. The reason why he's quiet and the reason why you don't know he's struck until it's too late is less because he moves really quietly and more because he stays where he is until an arrow is through your eyeball. The difference is that Daredevil will be able to see that arrow coming and know where you're at. The jig's up.
I also think, is this my rebuttal to your rebuttal?
It can be, absolutely. The rebuttal's an open floor, please.
Yeah, so I think that, no, I disagree. There's in no way, shape, form, or fashion that Daredevil wins this, because it doesn't matter if he gets one. You're still talking in the instance of that it's one arrow. A regular plain Jane, go to Walmart and pick up some arrows. No.
I mean, those are also there. So if he runs out, he can go grab those arrows.
Correct.
I will say that.
Correct.
He can also go get some beef jerky if he gets hungry.
Right. Beef jerky is grade A awesome. But what I'm saying is that if he has little bombs or whatever you want to call them, or a gas, he could put him to sleep. He just has to be in a 10-foot area where this gas spreads out, and then it's over with. You just stand over him, bink, it's done for. That he has so many things in his arsenal that what's Daredevil have? Doesn't he have swords?
He has nunchucks.
No, really?
Yeah, yes. He has nunchucks and he has batons.
Batons is what I was thinking of then. But either way, I just don't. What's he gonna do with a baton or a nunchuck when it comes to a arrow with an explosive on it? Or what's he gonna do with from an arrow that hits 5 foot in front of him that releases a gas? Like, sure, he might be able to get out of the way, but who's to say that Clint Barton doesn't hit him with that 3-arrow shot and surround him? You can't get out of that without breathing in the gas.
I understand. Is this is it okay to treat this as a third point or
Mine?
how do we yeah.
I mean,
Or-
if
or
that's
is
what
it-
you, if,
or no, we can just. I'm cool. I'm cool to move on to your third point if you have one. Because I
That-
feel like the arrow has kind of. I've really answered that question in my opinion. I feel like the
he would hear it coming.
I believe he is faster than the arrow. Yes, I genuinely believe this. Arrows make noise. They may not make. Not all arrows have to have a whistling.
Like a
tip.
whistle.
Not all of them have to have a whistling tip, but they.
No,
all
I just
do.
mean that generally they whistle.
Exactly. arrows make noise because they produce drag through their journey. Yeah. So the thing is like this is something that is easily trackable and identifiable in multiple numbers. It's something that Daredevil, I believe, can see coming, quantify, and react. And
Okay.
if you want to go on to your third point, I'm ready to hear it.
I mean, my third point kind of mixes in with my last point is that I said it right there at the end. He could run away, sure. He could run away from one arrow. He might be able to make it away from 2 arrows, but can he make it away from a barrage of arrows? Continuously. He is still human. He still has to get tired.
He's gonna go pick up the gamer subs in aisle 6. It'll be fine.
G Fuel.
Yeah, that's right. Let's be honest. They probably don't have gamer subs in Walmart, right? But no, I hear you. The human, if we can go into counterpoint, if
Okay.
that's okay with you.
For sure.
I personally feel like Daredevil is, unfortunately for you, has more stamina than Hawkeye for one reason. He and his dad were boxers. And the reason why his dad died was because he didn't know when to go down. He didn't want to take that hit. He didn't want to take that fall, and they had to kill him. Matt Murdock gets up. Period. That is something he does. Daredevil does not stay down. I think he has you beat in the stamina department.
Wow, that's a good argument. Yeah.
So if we can go on to my 3 points to present, I can go ahead and start.
Isn't that what we just did?
No. So what you did was 3 points and then rebuttals, right? Now it's my 3 points with your rebuttals.
I see. I thought we were going back and forth. I understand.
Yeah, totally. No worries. So my first point that I want to start with is that Daredevil has a bulletproof, knife-proof, and arrow-proof vest and super suit. Hawkeye does not have an unpunchable body. Daredevil can hand deliver them fists to him in a way that he can receive them. As opposed to if a stray shot from these arrows did come through on Daredevil, a good shot of most of them aren't going to puncture his suit.
Okay. So he has to get close. Okay. There you go. I disagree that he could get close. I think Hawkeye would keep him at a distance or at least try. And if he did get close, it's not like Hawkeye is just a couch potato. He can fight. I don't know how. I mean, pretty well. He spars with Natasha. He can hold his own with her. Now she wins, but he can hold his own for quite a while.
I hear you.
Now the question comes up: could Daredevil beat Natasha? I don't know that answer.
That'll have to be on another episode of Legitimate Clashes, I think.
I agree. But yeah,
yeah, I hear you.
My wager would be on Natasha on that one, actually.
Matt Murdock likes boobs too much. That's just really the problem with that one.
I think he's at a disadvantage on this one.
So we'll touch on that one later. It may come up, y'all. But on to my second point is that Daredevil has experience fighting people from not only S.H.I.E.L.D., but particularly archers. There's been several times where people like Hawkeye have gone after him, and he knows how to stop these things from happening. Things like he can hear the minute differences in your bow and strike it in just the right point to disable it. Compound bow, double string bow, doesn't matter the real type of bow. The type of bow that Hawkeye uses is a double compound bow, which is probably the best type that you can use. Its drawstring is quite impressive, but with something that tense, it does have a lot of kinetic potential energy in it at all times. And his main weapon is breakable, while Daredevil's isn't. He has fought with broken hands, and he has fought with nubs. Daredevil can kick you, bite you, and claw you more effectively than I believe Hawkeye could if his bow was disabled.
so you're telling me you don't think Hawkeye can fist fight?
No, I think he can.
Okay.
The thing is I think that Daredevil was raised by a boxer and understands that it's not always the bigger man who wins. Hawkeye's got height. Hawkeye's got reach. Daredevil's got heart, and he knows where to hit. He knows where to hit Hawkeye.
Ooh.
He knows where these joints crack. He knows where that muscle's really tense. He has heard in his gait what part of his body may or may not be weaker than the other. I personally think that he's bringing more to the table with this superpower than just Hawkeye can handle, personally.
So hypothetically, Hawkeye did canonically have one of the Infinity Stones in his hand. Can he? He can use them.
Okay, that's
Technically, he had the whole gauntlet at one point.
he did hold,
My point.
He did hold the whole thing.
But he did say synonymously, what he would usually have. It was a joke.
I don't think that, because if we want to go into that, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but Daredevil.
I think that would be a tie as well, because
Daredevil was Heimdall. He had the all-seeing eye of the Norse mythology, as well as being exposed to the Terrigen myth, which very literally gave him the immortal ability of never dying, like just being unable to die. So you don't want to go up this road.
also, if Hawkeye used the thing, we know for certain he would most likely perish.
Die. Yeah, he's not built like the Hulk. He died.
Yeah, but who? But the question is, who would be able to do it first? If he can't die, but he can cease to exist from reality, who wins that? If I die, but you cease to exist, who wins?
I think the argument was to the death, not erasure. So you lose.
This is the grandfather paradox. If he ceased to exist, he never existed. Therefore, there could be no wager.
That is different than death, though. Unfortunately, that is different than death, which you do have.
I'm sorry,
and I don't.
That sounds like. No, I lost it. Never mind.
But back on to my third point, which is that at the end of the day, I think Daredevil can make better use of this setting than Hawkeye can. Hawkeye is reliant on sight. Daredevil isn't. Daredevil can hear through things because of the reverberations. It's not as if because there's a wall here, he can't he can hear that wall and he can hear slightly beyond that. It's just like as if imagine if your vision was a little bit blurry.
Right.
If I believe Daredevil can make the setting an inhospitable visual light nightmare in a way that Hawkeye could not overcome. So things like laser pointers, televisions, things like this, breaking the lights, making it completely dark inside of this immortal, indefinite, impenetrable Walmart, taking out all of those overhead sport lights that we all know and love from the Walmarts. If he breaks all of these and the room becomes dark, sure, Clint's got night vision, but you know what night vision does? Whine. It makes a noise. You constantly have a ping on you inside this Walmart. I personally believe that Matt Murdock can take better advantage of his setting than Hawkeye, is my third point.
Okay. Here's my rebuttal about all of that. I do have a question first, but I believe I am correct.
Sure.
A flashbang not only flashes, but is loud and stuns you, correct?
Yes.
There. You take away his hearing, he can't hear. Hawkeye, Daredevil has the little eye mask. So if you're telling me the rest of his suit is impenetrable, basically, he has this much. And I personally think that Hawkeye could aim enough correct, he could come correct and shoot him to where it severs his spinal cord and kills him. Right through the back, right through his mouth. I definitely think that could happen. I mean, that's a crazy scenario, but I think Flashbang handles that.
Loud noises are definitely something that Daredevil has trained, and while it hurts like hell, it is not something he is unable to completely recover from. Versus, you could being in the complete darkness, you either have to use night vision or you don't. It is something that is an unchangeable fact versus flashbangs are temporary. Darkness is forever.
I understand, but you just said he can recover from. Recovery takes time.
Yes, I completely agree.
And in the time that it takes him to recover, I think Clint Barton could hit him with an arrow.
Okay. Well, I have no further points, and I believe that was the final rebuttal. So let's go over to Sean for the final verdict. A couple things I would like for you to say. A couple of things I would like for you to do. Say a point you really liked from both people's arguments, and then give your final verdict.
I do also want to say that what I did is basically I pulled up a page that just kind of short lists both of these guys' abilities. And I was kind of grading you both on what your bring ups were in those regards. I'm going to start with Hawkeye. Uh, he is a master archer, which is the only tag of master that he has. He is expert in just about everything else. That'll be relevant in a second. Um, but something I did see that wasn't brought up that's I'm gonna say
if I may, if it wasn't brought up, just as if Frieza and the ant were the only things, this needs to be the only. Our arguments and counterpoints need to be the only things that you pull from. Because
I'm not pulling from. I'm outlining as a reason as to my verdict.
Okay. What I'm saying is your verdict needs to be based on our arguments. Yes.
It is, yes.
Okay.
Expert tactician is one that wasn't exactly brought up, and that is a big. That could have probably had enough of an argument for Hawkeye to win here. Unfortunately, though, Daredevil in this setting of a Walmart is just gonna wreck house. Unless Barton were to be able to get to a high vantage, which is not likely. Even then, he doesn't have that high of a shot. Daredevil is basically like you were saying, the ability to know when something is coming at him with his radar sense and his atmospheric disturbance sense, quote unquote.
The hairs on the back of his neck are real good.
He more or less has a spidey sense, so he's gonna dodge that arrow, and anything he doesn't dodge is gonna get absorbed. The flashbang thing I thought was an excellent bring up. I do see him being able to be taken advantage of in a quick moment of brilliance by Hawkeye, but I don't put it as a very high odds in that scenario. It would have to be like basically 3 nat 20s from Hawkeye sort of thing. Um, Daredevil, the Daredevil kicking out the lights thing was something I was thinking, and I was like, that would be super dubs for him. What I was imagining here was Daredevil is gonna fucking like make movements of cover. He could knock over shelves. He could knock over him utilizing the space better is totally accurate because Barton's gonna creep around, right? You know,
Right.
um, there were definitely some thought processes on the arrows for Hawkeye as well, where I was like, man, he's got some nasty, crazy arrows. Like, what about this and that? Which I heard some bring up some Devin on that respect.
So is the final verdict Daredevil?
It is Daredevil.
Okay. What I will say is something that I was so hoping you did not say, which would have sucked, is that he has a Pym particle arrow.
Yep, that's
He
what I was thinking like the
that
whole
thing
time.
sucks. He also has an adamantium and vibranium arrows, which would go through me like butter.
Yep,
But those were unfortunately not brought up in Walmart Dojo today.
right,
So,
right. I was hoping you would say Hawkeye gets up in the rafters because that's kind of a hard one for me to say Daredevil wins
yeah,
because like
well, he can
he's
throw
gonna
you
climb up
bras.
into the
Yeah,
sure, but
he does
Hawkeye
also.
can see. Even if he's got the night
Yeah,
vision, he could just creep up all along the
I hear you.
top.
I did say
Different
vantage
vantage
point.
points. Yeah, but you didn't bring up your surroundings. You got to use the Walmart.
Okay,
This has
that's
been a good
fine.
one. Is there
I
anything?
think we should also do like I think Waffle House is another really funny one. As like maybe we have characters that literally are gonna brawl,
Sure. I
and
mean,
so
the
it's got to be in
setting.
the Waffle
I
House.
think I think the setting of Walmart just kind of gives us the most to play with. But I think we can
I
definitely
agree.
change up the settings from time to time just to
Mhm.
keep things fresh. But I think Walmart is an excellent baseline because at the end
I
of the
agree.
day, everything that you can do in Waffle House, you can do in Walmart because they have a blacktop and they
Mhm.
have hash browns and they have eggs and they have chairs and they have stools and they have
Right.
so the thing
This
is
was in
like
the vein. This
sure
was in the vein that Waffle House is the place to go to fight in my
I
mind.
hear you I hear you completely but I tip my hat to you. You had me shook, Dev. I thought you had me for those first ones, but good job.
Well, that'll be all, folks. A legitimate clashes. We're gonna hop out of here, but tune in next time. I don't know what we're gonna talk about, or I don't know who we're gonna talk about, but we're gonna have some crazy stuff coming up. Natasha might show up for a cameo. You never know.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
See y'all later,
All right.
guys.
See you later.